Hi! We are going to learn about the trumpet today. So many of you have rented the trumpet or are in the process of renting the trumpet, and I am excited to give you a little bit of helpful hints to get started, starting with proper instrument care and how to carry the case, put it down carefully, open it carefully without anything bad happening to it or happening to you. For instance, I've closed the case too quickly in a rush, and it's a little painful when your thumb lands in the opening. So always be careful. Sometimes we're rushing, and hurrying, but take your time opening your instrument. It has to be done carefully and on a flat surface. If you're going to use a table, always make sure it's away from the edge of the table. If we are using the gym floor, for instance, at Merit School, we're going to space out the cases 3 feet apart and just open them against the windows for our lessons. So for your trumpet, every instrument should have a name tag on it. If it doesn't, I do have some that I can give out to you, and we should be getting more also. You also can just use plain masking tape to label your instrument, but it's really important to come to school only with your instrument labeled, just in case it's left in the hallway, you forget it downstairs, any of that. Okay, so we have the front of the case here. There's 2 latches in the front. Make sure the bigger side that's holding the trumpet is on the bottom. Usually the label faces up on the case. Some cases are different. And then flip it open and pull up. So you have just 2 parts, the body of the trumpet and the mouthpiece. So for our first lesson, we usually just start with the mouthpiece only. And the reason that is because we need to be able to create sound on just this part, the mouthpiece, in order to get it through the trumpet. Sometimes we use exercises playing on just the lead pipe, which is this part. So we can get used to how hard we have to blow into the instrument, how much air has to be expelled through. Your bell covers will cover this section, and your playing masks will be playing this way with the slit open for the trumpet. So here, mouthpiece, we usually try to center it before we play, so make sure it's not sideways and right under your nose, covering even portions of your top and bottom lip. And you have to have a little bit of moisture on your lips before you play, but it's also a very good idea to keep chapstick in your case. A lot of trumpet students tend to get chapped lips the first few months of playing. I'm not sure why. It could be just because of the weather, the fall and the dry winter. So we try to get this buzzing sound that most of you giggle at when I do. We never puff our cheeks out. We always keep them pushed in as we're playing, which takes a little bit of time for some of us. It doesn't come naturally, but you just keep practicing. After you're able to create that sound, then we put the mouthpiece on. It's very important when you put the mouthpiece on to not push it. If you push it, it creates a vacuum inside the instrument, and it's sort of like trying to pull out 2 of those buckets from Home Depot. They get pushed together when you're gardening and you can't seem to separate them because of the suction. Same thing with the trumpet mouthpiece. Then you have to use this handy dandy mouthpiece puller, we call it, and I have to set it up and adjust screws and pop it out, and it's a little bit tedious, but I hope that we don't have to use it too often. It's not the end of the world if your mouthpiece gets stuck. You just can't put it back in the case because you can't close it. So it's really important to take proper care of the mouthpiece. All right, so we've got the mouthpiece on. We're able to create that first sound. Now I try to just go over the left hand grip with students. So this is my left hand. I have my thumb around the front of the casing. This is more, whatever is comfortable for you. I find my pinky wrapped around the bottom to be the most comfortable grip. And the reason why we talk about this grip so importantly from the beginning is because we don't want to develop a habit of holding the trumpet with our right hand as we're playing, because then you have less flexibility with your fingers. You can't really move them as fast. Whereas here, now you have this backward C. Now you can really play with more flexibility. So some students start with the C, or the G comes out first. And I didn't press any of the valves down. The valves are another whole lesson, but these valves are very sensitive. We use valve oil. This is the one that I use. It's blue in color, but most of yours will be clear when you get it in the case. And I usually try to treat your valves for you, but if I cannot, I will post a video on how to oil the valves. This should be just maybe 2 drops every few days. If you're putting in every time you play, it's going to be way too sticky, and then you have to too much, and then I have to clean it out. That being said, try not to get attached to these things. They're very easy to fidget with, but if you turn them, these valves come out. Yes, they do. It's very fascinating, and we will learn about it in class together, but don't do it at home, because if they're not put in properly, the trumpet won't play. If I try to blow into the trumpet and the valves in properly, it won't expel any air through. So here. So I just played our concert B flat warm-up scale, C major, and that's just after a couple of months we'll start scales. But in the beginning, I like to just focus on sitting up straight, keeping your shoulders relaxed, good left hand grip. Your right hand should curve over the valves. This is first finger, second finger, third finger, and we press down this way. But for now, just try to get as long of a note as you can. Your first time you play into your trumpet, you might sound like this. That means you need probably 5 times more air to play. And you'll find your favorite note. It'll be G or C. That's your C. G is up here. And then once you get that note, try to hold it out for 4 beats. If you can do that, try it for 6 beats. That's really the best way to get going on trumpet, and then you get to play Mary Had a Little Lamb, Hot Cross Buns. We'll get to that very eventually, but that's all I really need you to know for now. And when you take the mouthpiece off, I don't know if I mentioned, just give it a turn when you put the mouthpiece on. I just told you what not to do, but I didn't tell you what to do. When you put the mouthpiece on, just give it a quarter turn to the right until it stops. And then when you're done, take it off. And then we're going to go over how to clean the mouthpiece once a week. But in school, you would just put it back into the case. There are 2 holes in the case. Make sure the mouthpiece goes back into that hole. And don't fold your books up inside the case, because then the books, when you open them, they won't stay open for you. So you do have to keep your book in your book bag, backpack, not inside your case. And then when you put the trumpet in, lay it flat. It's pretty obvious because the bell goes into a section right here. And then when you close it, don't pick it up to go back to class or back home until you've latched it closed. Okay, so there's your basics of playing the trumpet. And I think that's all. We'll stop there for today. Sometimes we do use slide oil, tuning slide grease. This is our tuning slide. I already had a student ask me, how do we tune a trumpet? This moves in and out. I don't really need for you to tune right now, unless you're using a tuner at home. That's wonderful. For now, don't worry about it. Just keep it where it is, and then when we meet in person, we all tune together as a group. All right, so I hope that helps you get started on trumpet. If you're having trouble expelling a lot of air and getting enough air through the instrument to create sound, I just wanted to give you a quick exercise to help you. Okay, what am I doing with a piece of paper? Making a paper airplane? No. Usually I try to put the paper about 6 inches in front of your face, and then I tell you to blow onto the paper to make it move like this. If you find that to be difficult, keep trying that this far away from you. So I'm just blowing onto the paper, and then move it 6 further inches away and blow even harder, and then move it further away, and that's enough air to get through the trumpet. But if you're not getting any sound, or it just feels weak, it's probably because you're not able to move the paper. So just pick up a piece of paper and practice with that. And then once you play into your trumpet, you'll have a really bright, open sound. I hear somebody knocking on the door, which means I must end this video. We will have other videos for those who recommended or suggested or requested specific songs to be played, I will save that for another time. I just wanted to give you the most helpful info that I can, and I look forward to meeting you soon in person or seeing you in class for music extensions. Okay, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye!